Good morning, Liz Ann here from High Vibes Life, helping you make the rest of your life the best of your life. I'm out here early in the morning in my backyard and I'm getting ready to sun gaze. I've got the sun coming over the horizon. In just a second here, I'll show you. So I've asked myself the question a few times, am I a witch? And maybe you've asked the same question. And so in today's video, I am going to do my best to answer that question. I love magic. I love everything about it. I love how it's spelled both ways, M-A-G-I-C, M-A-G-I-C-K. I love the feeling of it. I love the dramatization of it, like in Harry Potter. And I'm not talking about the kind of magic that is a sleight of hand, magic shows type of things. I'm talking about the magic of living and the magic of life and the ability to manipulate energy and to put intentions out into the universe as a prayer, as a mantra, and to co-create or to create the life that I'm living today. So for years I lived as a fundamental Christian for almost 18 years. In a very strict Christian sect that truly believed that they were the people of God and that they had the true message, and I bought into that and believed it myself for many, many years. And then in the last couple years began to get depressed. I began to question everything, which I had questions all along, but as is often the case in these types of religions, they tell you to put those things on a shelf and just trust and have faith, and those kind of questions are considered doubt. And so I didn't really deal with them until I started getting really depressed, and then I started needing those questions to be answered. And when I started praying and really seeking with pure honesty what the answers to those questions were, I realized that I was a part of just another religion, and there was nothing in and of itself wrong with that, but there were many things that I was doing and expecting out of myself and out of my life that I wouldn't have otherwise do or expect out of myself if it wasn't for the fact that they were telling me to do it. And so coming to this realization was really earth-shaking, and literally I dissociated for over a month when I realized that everything I'd been living up to that point was not the truth. It was just a perspective, and I left because I had identified as a Christian for so many years of my life. Even before I came to that church, I had already identified as a Christian. When I left, I really didn't know what I was supposed to identify as any longer. And I wrote a book called The Voice of God Within, and it was because I had learned to start listening to my own heart. And I'm going to be doing a series on this YouTube channel about that book, about the different chapters and what's in it, and the perspectives that I had that went into creating that book. So stay tuned if you're interested in that. Please subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss those upcoming videos. So anyhow, back to the thought. I had subscribed to this religion and I had identified with it for so long, and now I felt like I didn't have an identity. And it took me a while. For the first year, I cried every day of my life because there was so much grief in leaving, because when you leave something like that, you no longer are part of it. They pretty much no longer associate with you. It's just their belief system. And so I lost what was at that time, my family and my connections. And so it was a really difficult time in my life. But I began to learn to open up my mind and to realize that most of what I had been living all them years was coming from a perspective and from a paradigm of fear. And so I began to face those fears, and I began to look into things that I had been for so many years afraid of even looking at, because I might go to hell, or the devil might get me, or I might be ensnared and never be able to go to heaven, and all those fears that kept me from really being able to explore. And when I began to open up my mind and read different perspectives, it was like the magic of the universe opened up to me again, and the mystery, and life started to become beautiful and exciting again. And I realized that part of the reason why I had become so depressed was because I had suppressed that natural part of the human experience, and that is to want to explore and to dive into mysteries and to use the imagination. I had suppressed it not just because of church, but for so many different reasons. It's hard to go into all of it in this one video. So back to the question, am I a witch? So to me, words are very interesting, because we can ask that if somebody calls you a bitch, that can either be offensive or it could be a compliment, depending on who that's coming from and the way that they are saying it. And it is like that with anything. And I have learned not to put labels on myself. And I refuse to put labels on myself. So my answer is, it just depends on your perspective. One thing I have found in my 51 years of life is that people love to tell you who you are and put labels on you and put you in a package. People love to organize things. So they want to put you in a box and they want to stick a label, slap a label. Oh, she's an atheist, or she's a free thinker, she's a boho, she's a whatever. And I found that even within the religious community, the Christian community. Well, yeah, they're Christian, but they're Mormon. Yeah, they're Christian, but they're Catholic. So they have different perspectives. Yeah, they're Christian, but they're Baptist. Oh, they're Christian, but they're Church of God. And that just means that, and all of them said they were the ones that had the real true perspective, right? And I find that with any label, including the label of a witch. So when I was looking into the perspective of witches, and again facing that fear and looking at darker things that to me would have been forbidden before, I found that there were a lot of videos and a lot of articles written that wanted to answer that question for me. Are you a witch? So I would look that up and I would check off so many of those things. It would be like, oh, you're into crystals, or you have deep intuition and knowing, or you're empathic, which I'm very empathic, and or you love Mother Nature, and I love Mother Nature. So I would look at these things and I'd be like, wow, maybe I'm a witch, thinking about it. But then I started backing up from that, because then I would go and I would get a book, and there were so many things in witchcraft type books that I didn't identify with at all. Namely, I didn't identify with the darker aspects of it. I didn't identify with worshiping deities in any way, shape, or form. I believe that we have everything we need of God within our heart. And I believe that when you look without for something to give you power, that you are giving your power away to something else, and that we have the power that we need within us. And so there were so many things about that type of label, or that people put under the heading of that label, that I didn't identify with. So there were many, many things that I did identify with and that I absolutely love, including magic. I love the magic of life. What attracts me is to be able to manipulate energy and learning about vibration and quantum physics. And I realized that witchcraft is just another way to put a label on universal laws. And some people love to subscribe to that and love to be in a community of people that have like-mindedness, whether it's witchcraft or Christianity, or it doesn't matter what. But I personally don't subscribe to things that put a label on me, because I feel like once I do, then I have to take the whole package with it, and I don't want the whole package. Does that mean I don't love witches? No, I totally think that so much of the witches out there are so awesome and so beautiful, such beautiful souls. And like anything in life, under any label, under Christianity, there is hideous things done under Christianity just as much as there's hideous things done under the name of witchcraft. So, but there's also very, very, very sweet and loving things done in the name of Christianity, just as there is sweet and loving things done in the name of witchcraft. So that is my perspective, and that is my answer to you today. The answer to the question, am I a witch? And my answer is, I don't take labels. I am who I am. And one thing that I was able to finally come to terms with and find my peace in is the fact that there's only two things that I 100% know without any doubt. That I am here and that I am learning and growing. And other than that, my perspectives change all the time, and so I don't want to put labels on myself and believe that I have to be called a witch or a Christian or an atheist or whatever people want to say about different ones and their perspectives. I want to be, I am who I am. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.